Whether you're a born and raised Arkansan, lived here for 30 plus years, or recently arrived to the natural state, this place we call home has a rich, diverse, and unique history. Since the website was launched in the mid-2000s, the staff of the Encyclopedia of Arkansas has tried to make sure that the story of this place is documented in an accessible digital format. This free resource has almost everything you might want to know about the 25th state, and the EOA staff are in the habit of finding the most fascinating of those stories to tell. The Cal's Encyclopedia of Arkansas launched in 2006 with 700 entries and 900 pieces of media. In 2019, we switched platforms from the original proprietary website to a newly designed WordPress site. In August 2022, we undertook a further redesign of the homepage, search function, and user experience features. You can stop by the EOA for tidbits like This Day in Arkansas History and Photo of the Day, as well as trending entries and what's been newly updated. And here's a hint, we're updating all the time. We have over 7,000 entries. We're often compared to Wikipedia, but the difference is that our entries are peer-reviewed and professionally edited. Anyone can write for the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, but all entries are reviewed by other scholars, fact-checked, and edited for grammar and spelling. We have entries on every incorporated community, hundreds of unincorporated ones, and we're always seeking more. We have entries on government officials, from those who served in Congress to Arkansas constitutional officers to individual state legislators, even significant sheriffs, mayors, and county judges. Civil rights organizations from the national level, such as the NAACP, to the local level, such as CLOB, Council for Liberation of Blacks. We have military events from the Civil War, ranging from major battles in Pea Ridge down to the small local skirmishes. If someone in blue and someone in gray met in the woods between 1861 and 1865, we probably have an entry documenting it. And the natural environment. Birds, fish, mammals, but also fungi, lichen, fern, jellyfish. And we are always developing more. Developing entries on every film set or filmed in Arkansas, as well as every book, television show, and even individual episodes set in the state. Search for X-Files. We are used by government agencies and officials, students, media, genealogists, historians, local and national. Users have come from every continent, including Antarctica, and more than 230 countries. We have over 175,000 users each month. And boy, do we have media. We have over 17,000 pieces of media. We have worked with archives, libraries, museums, and universities around the state and the country to make sure that the Encyclopedia of Arkansas has visual images to illustrate our entries. But there is always more to find. We rely on everyday citizens to help us locate photos. William Delford Willie Davis, 1934 to 2020, was a millionaire business executive, civic leader, and former football standout who grew up in Miller County. Davis achieved athletic success in football at the high school, college, and professional levels. After retiring from a National Football League career of 12 seasons, 1958 to 1969, he moved into the business world where he attained equal success. Davis was born in 1934 in Louisiana and grew up in Texarkana, Miller County. He worked 2 jobs while attending high school. After high school, Davis was recruited by the legendary college coach Eddie Robinson at Louisiana's Grambling State University. Davis served as defensive team captain for 2 years and was twice named to the All-American team for black colleges. Davis was drafted into the 15th round by the NFL's Cleveland Browns, Just 2 weeks into his NFL career in 1956, he was drafted into the U.S. Army. In 1958, after 2 years in the military, he began his professional football career. Davis played 2 seasons for the Browns before being traded to the Green Bay Packers. In his pro career, he played in 162 consecutive games, 138 of which were during his 10 years with the Packers. As a Packer, the 6'3", 245-pound defensive lineman played on 6 championship teams, including Super Bowl I in 1967 and Super Bowl II in 1968. Davis retired from football in 1969. In 1975, he was inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame, and in 1981, he was inducted into the National Football Hall of Fame. During his last years as a player, Davis attended the University of Chicago, earning a master's in business administration. He purchased the West Coast Beverage Company and served as its president for the next 18 years. He also served as a color commentator for NFL broadcasts for the National Broadcasting Company, NBC. In 1976, he became president and CEO of All Pro Broadcasting, Inc. Davis was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2007. Eliza Ann Ross Miller, 1869 to 1938, was an African-American businesswoman and educator, as well as the first woman to build and operate a movie theater in Arkansas. She was the wife of prosperous Helena Phillips County businessman Abraham Hugo Miller. After her husband's death, she continued his business operations while also providing leadership in the Helena school system. She was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 1999. Eliza Ann Ross was born in Arkadelphia, Clarke County, in 1869. In 1887, she married Abraham H. Miller. They had 8 children. Abraham Miller praised his wife's ability as a collector, supervisor secretary, bookkeeper, and general manager. After Abraham's death in 1913, Eliza Miller built the Plaza Theater in downtown Helena. In 1921, the Plaza showed a film starring Black actor Sidney P. Duns with an all-colored star cast. By the 1920s, Miller's son Lucian was living with her and running the Plaza, but by the 1930s, Eliza Miller was again in charge and operated the theater until she died. She served on the Board of Trustees at Arkansas Baptist College in Little Rock, Pulaski County. In the mid-1920s, she bought land. In 1926, Eliza Miller High School, the first African-American high school in the area, was established on site. In later years, the Eliza Miller Award was given to the best teachers at the school. Miller died in 1938. In 1970, Eliza Miller High School was desegregated and repurposed as a junior high school. In 1978, Eliza Miller Park was established in Helena. 3 schools in the area now bear her name: Eliza Miller Junior High School, Eliza Miller Elementary School, and Eliza Miller Primary School. In 2003, the Arkansas General Assembly recognized Miller. Eliza Miller's legacy to her family and today's Black youth is the value of an education, determination, and respect. That same year, student and filmmaker Dana Bingham completed a short film about Miller, funded by the Arkansas Humanities Council. David Augustine Elihue Johnston, 1878 to 1919, was an inventor and a successful dentist and businessman. He and his brothers were killed during the Elaine Massacre of 1919. D.A.E. Johnston was born in Pine Bluff, Jefferson County. He received his dental training at the Chicago School of Dentistry. He practiced there before moving back to practice in Pine Bluff. He then moved to Helena, Phillips County, to set up a practice and established a branch office in Holly Grove, Monroe County. He married Maria Estelle Miller, daughter of the Reverend Abraham Hugo Miller and Eliza Ann Ross Miller. Johnston and attorney Scipio A. Jones were among the Arkansas delegates attending the National Negro Businessmen's League Convention in New York. They made a plea for the 1911 convention to be held in Little Rock and were successful. In 1913, Johnston began work on an invention that would improve the typing experience. He applied for a patent and received it in 1917. He was offered $25,000 for the right to manufacture and $50,000 for the ownership of the typewriter attachment. It is unknown if Johnston agreed. In 1918, Johnston applied for and was granted an exemption from serving in the military during World War I. In 1919, returning home with his 3 brothers, Johnston was allegedly approached and told not to drive to Helena. He was urged to catch the train instead. But Johnston and his 3 brothers were arrested when they reached Elaine on charges of distributing ammunition to the insurrectionists. They were chained together by a white man named Willie and other members of his posse. White journalists stated only that Johnston grabbed Willie's gun and shot Willie 3 to 4 times, after which the other posse members fired, killing Johnston and his 3 brothers. By contrast, black journalists reported that Willie and Johnston had argued the week before, and that Willie or a friend had tried to whip Johnston, but was instead beaten in the fight. Faye Clarke, born 1931, co-founded the Educate the Children Foundation, which was created to support rural and impoverished school districts with donations of books and other educational materials. She was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2002. Faye Wilma Robinson was born in 1931 in Pine Bluff, Jefferson County. She was an Arkansas National Merit Scholar and studied at Hampton Institute, then attended a 1-year business program at Radcliffe College, taught by professors from the Harvard Business School, where women were not yet allowed. She was the first African American woman in this program. She began working at Aramark, a company that provides food, facility, and uniform services, eventually becoming a regional vice president. She married Frank Clarke in 1982. In her work for Aramark, Clarke and her husband frequently traveled, and they became aware of the many structural inequalities facing children in lower-income school districts, in particular the schools of the Mississippi Delta region, where poverty is endemic. Shocked at the conditions they witnessed, the Clarkes began donating books and calculators to needy school districts in the South. After Clarke retired, the couple used most of her $300,000 retirement fund to establish what became the Educate the Children Foundation, with Clarke as executive director. The foundation worked to obtain surplus materials from educational publishers and discarded furniture from wealthier school districts, opening warehouses in 4 states. By 1999, more than $20 million worth of books and other equipment had been distributed to schools in 9 states and Washington, D.C., as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands, Haiti, and Ghana. The Clarkes also established computer labs in various schools, including on Native American reservations, and opened a computer-oriented summer camp for children. Faye and Frank Clarke received the President's Service Award from President Bill Clinton and the National Caring Award. Gerald Byron Alley, born 1952, is the founder of Conreal LP, which is the leading Black-owned construction and real estate firm in Texas, with offices in Arkansas and California. He was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2013 and the Arkansas Business Hall of Fame in 2020. Gerald Alley was born in Pine Bluff, Jefferson County in 1952. His father was a local businessman who started the Alley Esso service station. After attending local public and private schools and working at his father's station, Alley enrolled in the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Washington County at the age of 16, majoring in finance. He graduated in 1973. He entered graduate school at Southern Methodist University, SMU, in Dallas, Texas, and graduated the following year with an MBA. He carried out additional study at the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University in Chicago, Illinois, and was recruited by Sanger Harris, a retail corporation based in Dallas. In 1979, Alley founded Conreal. In the beginning, he and an assistant who shared a desk made up the entire staff. His brother Troy joined him as a partner soon after the founding, and Conrail soon grew into a major force in construction and real estate. Headquartered in Arlington, Texas, it opened offices in Dallas and Houston, as well as Little Rock, Pulaski County, and San Francisco, California. Conrail regularly provides services to Fortune 500 companies. Allie also founded the Allie Group, TAG, a project management services company, and Bravado LP, a real estate and hospitality firm. In addition, he co-founded the Candace Allie Family Foundation, which supports organizations providing for the needs of underprivileged students. He has served on numerous boards, including at SMU and U of A. Allie and his wife, Dr. Candace P. Allie, have 3 children. The government leaders of Tarrant County, Texas, declared October 19, 2013, to be Gerald Byron Allie Day. Josephine Irvin Harris Pankey, 1869 to 1954, was a real estate developer, educator, philanthropist, and leader in the African American community of Little Rock, Pulaski County. Josephine Irvin was born in 1869 in Ohio. She studied music at the Oberlin College Conservatory, but withdrew because of illness. She moved to Arkansas to teach and began in Devall's Bluff, Prairie County. She soon became the principal of a group of schools. She traveled via horse and wagon to oversee them. She married Eugene Harris and then moved to Pine Bluff, Jefferson County. There she taught and gave music lessons. After 3 years of marriage, they divorced, and she moved to Little Rock. She continued teaching and joined Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church. There she met Samuel Pankey, and they married. The couple became interested in real estate development. In the early 1900s in Little Rock, restrictive covenants limited where Black families could buy land and live, and financing was not generally available from banks. Pankey bought 80 acres along what is now Cantrell Road. It is still known as the Pankey community. She bought 2.5 acres off what is now North Cleveland Street, and she and her husband lived there. Pankey bought another 15 acres near what today is Canis Road. She bought 80 acres adjacent to her first purchase and platted additional lots. She began working with Worthen Bank. One employee recalled, "On the strength of Mrs. Pankey's endorsement, we made a number of loans to young men who otherwise would not have qualified. If the borrower didn't pay, I'd call Mrs. Pankey." Pankey wanted a better life for her community. She organized the first school in the Riverside community, today the Riverdale area of Little Rock. Seeing that African Americans lacked access to books due to segregation laws, Pankey started her own lending library. Eventually, she established the first permanent lending library for African Americans in town. John Edward Bush, 1856 to 1916, a chairman of the Republican Party in Arkansas, rose from poverty to national prominence when he co-founded the Mosaic Templars of America, MTA, an African American fraternal organization of international scope spanning 26 states and 6 foreign countries from the 1880s until the 1930s. Headquartered in Little Rock, Pulaski County, MTA became one of the largest and most successful Black-owned business enterprises in the nation and the world. Living most of his early life in the downtown 9th Street district of Little Rock, Bush was widely acknowledged as one of the wealthiest Black men in Arkansas and a progenitor of the economic development and progress of Black American entrepreneurs. John Bush was born a slave in 1856 in Tennessee. His family was brought to Arkansas by their owner and freed after the Civil War, but his mother soon died. He wandered and performed odd jobs to survive. A man saw him and carried him by force to school. Bush liked school so much he studied late at night, often unable to attend during the day. In order to finance his education, Bush worked as a brick molder. In 1875, a postal clerk for the railway mail service, he became the first Black person to be recommended for chief clerkship. Bush graduated with honors from school and served as principal. In 1879, Bush married Cora Winfrey, daughter of a prominent Black businessman. The founding of the Mosaic Templars in 1883 launched Bush's business career. He and Booker T. Washington became fast friends and supported each other's endeavors. Washington dedicated the MTA headquarters building. Talented people served as officers, such as his sons, Chester and Aldrich, and lawyer Scipio Jones, among others. President McKinley appointed Bush receiver of the U.S. Land Office at Little Rock. He was subsequently reappointed 4 additional terms by Presidents Roosevelt and Taft. Bush died in 1916. His sons, Chester and Aldrich, continued his legacy. Martha Smith Dixon, born 1946, is an internationally recognized clothing designer and entrepreneur. Her designs of couture gowns worn by Hillary Clinton during Bill Clinton's gubernatorial and presidential inaugurations helped launch her career in fashion. Martha Smith was born in Clarke County in 1946. She attended schools in Gurdon and Arkadelphia. She spent 2 years at Henderson State University before dropping out to work at Levi Strauss. She married Huey Dixon. Dixon started her first business, Martha's Designs, walking door to door. One boutique placed an order for 12 dresses, and within 2 weeks, one of Dixon's dresses had been selected for Hillary Rodham Clinton. Then Arkansas's First Lady, she wore the dress for the governor's inaugural ball in 1987, following the re-election of Bill Clinton as governor of Arkansas. The gown was later displayed at the Old State House Museum. Business picked up after the high-profile order, allowing Dixon to place designs in boutiques in surrounding states. Arkadelphia business leaders helped pay material costs for a second gown for Hillary Clinton, this time at Bill Clinton's 1993 Presidential Gala inaugural ball. With a $50,000 loan from the Arkansas Industry Development Council, Dixon created her second business, Dixon Manufacturing. Commercial clients have included Tyson Foods, Cardi, and Walmart. After a devastating fire, Dixon sold Dixon Kids, a children's clothing line that supplied school uniforms. She gave the hospital uniform portion to an employee and retained the food services uniform portion for herself. Dixon served in leadership roles for the Democratic Party, including as Arkansas Democratic National Committee woman in 2000 and co-chair of the 2008 presidential campaign for Hillary Clinton. Dixon was recognized as one of the top 100 women of Arkansas by Arkansas Business Magazine and was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2005. In 2011, Dixon published her autobiography. James Ronald Rodgers Sr., 1947 to 1993, was the nation's first African-American to be appointed manager of a major commercial airport, the first black head of a major independent city agency in Little Rock, Pulaski County, and the state's first black commercial loan officer. James Rodgers was born in 1947 in Little Rock. Rodgers grew up working with his family for his father's janitorial service. After graduating from Horace Mann High School, Rodgers attended the University of Arkansas at Little Rock for a year and a half before joining the U.S. Air Force. After a 4-year stint as a radar technician, he returned to civilian life and resumed his studies at UA Little Rock, graduating with a B.S. in accounting. He married Claudia Dennis of North Little Rock. Rodgers joined First Commercial Bank as a management trainee. He attended the Southwest Graduate School of Banking at Southern Methodist University in Texas. He was promoted to branch manager, followed by a promotion to assistant credit department manager, and later to the position of commercial loan officer. Rodgers joined Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport as an administrative assistant to manager Robert Crisp. In less than 3 years, he was named general assistant manager just before Crisp retired. In 1980, Rodgers was named airport manager at age 33. During his tenure from 1980 to 1993, boardings went from 494,000 to more than 1 million. A 200,000 square foot expansion of the terminal was completed. A runway was renovated and extended, and a parallel runway was built. The expansion projects Rodgers coordinated totaled more than $70 million. Rodgers died in 1993. He is buried at Little Rock National Cemetery. In 1994, Southwest Hospital dedicated its magnetic resonance imaging MRI unit to the memory of Rodgers, its former vice chairman of the board. Rodgers was posthumously inducted into the Arkansas Aviation Hall of Fame. Businesswoman and activist Mame Stewart Josenberger, 1872 to 1964, started her career as an educator but assumed control of a variety of businesses. She served as president of the Arkansas Association of Colored Women, AACW, and on the advisory board of The Crisis, the renowned publication of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. Mame Stewart was born in 1872. She earned a Bachelor's of Arts in Education at Fisk University and graduated in 1888 alongside scholar and political activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Stewart taught in Alabama and Mississippi before relocating to Arkansas and continuing to teach in Fort Smith, Sebastian County. Stewart married businessman William Ernest Josenberger. After his death, she took over the family business, which included a funeral home, Josenberger Hall, an entertainment venue, a burial insurance company, and property in the Taborian Heights area of Little Rock. In 1920, Josenberger's estimated worth was about $30,000, approximately $400,000 today. Josenberger's community and organizational affiliations were considerable. She was a member of the National Association of Colored Women, NACW, and the Arkansas Association of Colored Women, AACW. She also co-founded Fort Smith's Phyllis Wheatley Federation Club in 1898 and was its president for 56 years. Josenberger was a lifetime member of the NAACP. She grew increasingly involved in anti-lynching, social reform, and global peace activism through the International Council of Women of the Darker Races, ICWDR. Josenberger was an ICWDR Executive Committee member, Finance Committee member, and treasurer. Her involvement in so many organizations remained consistent over the years, even while she managed her businesses. Josenberger died in 1964 and is buried in Fort Smith's Oak Cemetery. Josenberger's organizational affiliations and connections to local, national, and international Black women leaders helped improve African American access to economic, social, and political opportunities. Any questions? This is just the tip of the iceberg. The Cal's Encyclopedia of Arkansas is a rabbit hole I encourage you to jump down. No matter what you're interested in, Arkansas has it, and the EOA is where you can start looking.